Hello, hello, loves. Welcome to the Emotional Mastery Masterclass. And I got my music on. Natural. And today we're going to be talking about emotions. And we're going to get right to the point. And as to why it is important for us to master our emotional destiny. And I have my lights on pretty high. Come on, guys. And I'll show you how emotions are big and important when it comes to manifesting more of the things that you want, when it comes to living in joy. And we're going to go through that, and then I'll do an activity at the end where I'm going to show you exactly how to go through it to be more aware and be able to shift your emotions, okay? Let me make sure that I'm inside the group. 1 second, I'm going to put the music down. Let me see if I see you guys. Let me know if you can hear me, and if you're watching the replay, welcome, beautiful. 1 second. There we go. Okay. Okay, so let's get started, my loves. Why are emotions so powerful, and why is it important for us to master our emotions? Well, I'm gonna give you a brief outline of what it means to really why emotions are so powerful. So first of all, emotions in your inner state are 80% of the game. So everything is 20. Oh my god, you guys see the light moving? It's so weird. Oh my god. Everything is 80% psychology and the rest is 20% strategy. So when it comes to achieving results in your life, if you're a leader, if you're a high achiever, if you're someone who wants to help a lot of people in the world and who wants to make a big difference, what you want to remember is that when you're trying to achieve a goal, it's not about how much you do, but it's more about who you are and how much mindset and how aligned your mindset and your self-confidence and your inner game is with what you desire. It's more about the inner world. 80% is the inside. Some people even say 96% of your results depend on your mindset. And so this is a key point, because a lot of people don't have the mindset, and they do all the work, and they do, and they get crazy burnout, and they get stressed out, and they don't achieve what they want. So what I want you to do is know that. And the first thing I want to talk about is how your emotions that actually shape the way you feel every day, obviously, right? Then they actually shape the actions that you take. So if you're feeling bad or you're feeling good, that's going to vary. That's going to change the way you perform in a daily basis. So when you are not feeling good, when you're feeling down, or you have a default emotion that is not joyful or not full of energy, you're not gonna go to the gym, you're not gonna perform as well, and you're not gonna get things done as well as you would if you were happy or joyful or excited. And of course, we can't be happy, joyful, and excited all the time, because we would like burn out and like get super tired. But we can actually change. We can actually know and consciously and deliberately shift our emotions toward more desired emotions. Okay, so it's not this class is not about how to teach you to be happy all the time, how to be joyful and smiling and jumping up and down all the time, but more about how to actually master your emotions on a daily basis so you can get more stuff done in a way that feels good, in a way that feels peaceful. Okay, so first thing, that there are 3 elements for a breakthrough, and this is something that is so true and so powerful. The number one component for a breakthrough is your story. So the story you tell yourself is key. If you have a story that's limiting, if you have a story that's disempowering, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm not good enough, or this won't happen, or this is difficult, that story will play out in your life and will shift your emotions. Guys, I'm sorry, the lights are like blinking for some reason, but that's okay. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna try to put them back a little because they're burning my face. Okay, so if I stay back here, maybe you can see me with less light. Hold on, there we go. So number 1, your story shapes the way you see life. Your story are like the glasses through which you see the world. And so if your story is empowering, the first place you want to start is in changing that story. Why? Because your story will shape your state. Okay, and so story is number one. Number two is your state. So when you're trying to change something, when you're trying to achieve something or see a breakthrough in your life, first thing that's going to affect your performance is your story. What story you're telling yourself. Are you being victim, or are you playing with 100% responsibility for your life? And so once your story is taken care of and you're aware of, oh shoot, I need to shift my story, and you shift it into a more positive one day in and day out, then you can focus as you go on your state. And what is your state? Your state is your emotional outlook on life, or your emotional experience in a certain given point. So what's your state? You always want to be checking, how am I feeling? Because your emotions will be like the what do you call that, like the thermometer that's going to actually measure how well you're experiencing life. Because if you're always struggling, if you're always feeling lack, or if you're always feeling scared or anxious or depressed or sad, you will have a very different experience if you're always feeling joyful, grateful, grounded, full of love. And so we want to move, always be in a dance between and catching yourself between, am I feeling fearful or am I feeling full of love? You always want to be catching yourself and measuring, using that thermometer, which are your emotions, to check on how you're experiencing life. Okay, so that's your state. Your state is how you feel, and then your strategy is what you do to get a breakthrough, to get to something that you want, to achieve something. And so the three components are your story, your state, and your strategy. Today we're going to talk about your story, actually your state. Your story is basically your beliefs, how you see the world, your blueprint. We're not going to get into that today because it's a whole other topic. We could have a, if you guys want, we can have another training on it. But the state is what I want to talk about today, because your emotions will be the source of your life experience. If you're feeling ungrateful in life, or if you're feeling frustrated or complaining, or that things are not going your way, or you're going to create more of that. And I don't want you to do that. But if you're feeling empowered, you're feeling optimistic, and you're feeling joyful and happy and grateful, and maybe you're not smiling all the time, but you're content and you're at peace, that set of emotions is going to create a ripple effect that will continue to attract more of that and create more of it. Okay, and so that's what I want to talk about today. We're going to focus on state, which is one of the three parts that we can form together to create a breakthrough. And the thing that I want to say is, like, when it comes to emotions, I've learned to allow my emotions to flow. So if one day you're feeling like, oh shoot, I feel sad, you want to listen to your emotions, because like I said, those emotions are like a like your thermometer. If you're feeling down, it's because, you know, there's something that your soul is trying to tell you, and you want to listen to those emotions. If you're feeling really happy, you want to be grateful for it. If you're feeling sad or depressed or scared, you want to listen and be grateful for that feeling as well. And because every emotion is just kind of like the communication between the inside of you, the invisible world, with the outside, with the outer world. It's like that bridge, you know. Action and emotions are the bridges that connect the invisible with the visible. So we'll always listen to your emotions. And what I want you to take away from this is, don't ever, you know, underestimate an emotion or judge yourself for feeling a certain way. Everything that that you're gonna try in this training, I want you to do from a place of love. Okay, I don't want you to go into like, oh, Estefania told me not to feel bad, because, you know, I don't want you to go into that, because then comes shame, and then comes guilt, and I don't want you to be near those emotions, because those emotions are not good for you. So everything that you try here is everything that you do from now on, based on this knowledge in any area of your life, I want you to take it with a grain of salt, and I want you to congratulate yourself and like feel excited for figuring something new out, and for catching yourself when you're triggered by something, okay? By an emotion that's not, like, when you're triggered by somebody, when you're triggered by something that happened and you feel mad or you feel angry, don't judge yourself. I want you to say, like, okay, there's something in it for me. I'm gonna watch myself and I'm gonna learn. What is my soul trying to tell me about this situation? What's happening? What's ticking me off? I'm gonna be aware, and I'm gonna, there's a mentor of mine that teaches something called grab the popcorn and watch yourself, like, oh, look at me. act like you're watching the movie of your life, and like grab the popcorn, eat that popcorn, and see what's happening. And so that's a really good concept that I learned from one of my mentors, and she's awesome. So I want you to grab the popcorn, take this with a grain of salt, and enjoy this process, because this process is a process of blossoming and growing. Okay. And so okay, so emotions are the glasses. Your story is the glasses with which you see the world, and then the emotions that you're feeling will blur those glasses or will make them clear. Okay, so it depends on what you're feeling. Those emotions will affect your vision, right? Will affect your decisions, your actions, and ultimately all your actions are going to add up to create your ultimate life, right? Life experience. And so emotions are also the way where our soul expresses itself, and the invisible is projected into the visible. Like when we cry, it's interesting because I don't know, it's like you see the pain inside of you manifested through a tear, and it's something that it's physical, it's beautiful. Okay, it's beautiful. So think of tears, think of that expression of yourself from an invisible point to a visible thing. And that's what emotions are. And then emotions are the DNA of your creation and your manifestation in the world. The way you feel will be the way you will like if you're feeling constantly, you have default emotions that are not positive, or you have default emotions that are very positive, then you're gonna get more of that, because you're gonna vibrate at that level. That's going to be your identity, and your identity will shape the way you experience life. Okay, and that's a whole other topic, which is something that we're going to talk in Awaken and Renew. If you watch this video till the end, I'm going to tell you more about awaken your purpose and renew your life, where it's so beautiful to know that when you awaken, right, and through the awakening process, there's three things that happen. You find out who you are, you remember who you are, then you you remember who you are, you remember what you're capable of in your true nature when you're aligned with God. And the third thing that happens is that you're able to really dive into your purpose. And then when you renew your life, you live between like awakening and sleeping. So there's three things that happen when you renew your life, and these are things that I came up with based on my knowledge and my journey. And it is that you wake up, right? You're awakened, then you renew your life, and you're always going back and forth between your old identity and your new identity, your old identity and your new identity in God. And then you go back to the ego, and then you go back to God. And that's like a little battle that we go through, like the little devil and the little angel. And then after that, you're able to fully live towards your vision and work towards your vision as a renewed woman, right? With the renewed mind. Some people call it the mind of Christ. And so when you have that mind, you're able to pursue your vision, which at the end of the day, your vision is only at the end of the day, we all have a vision, and it's a different form, but deep inside, what we want is just to be loved and be happy and be one with God. We have different forms in which we want to get through it, and that's why our purposes are different, but that's the end result, and that's what we're going to be talking about in Awaken and Renew. But I went on a tangent. Let me go back to the point. I can talk about more Awaken and Renew later if you guys want. If you have any questions, I can share anything that you want. But okay, let me see. Now, default emotions versus desired emotions. So right now, I want you to grab a pen and paper and start getting ready to write, because we're going to talk about this. And default emotions are usually emotions that are kind of like the normal for you. So I want you to write down, what are your typical default emotions? Like when you wake up during, like in the morning, how do you feel right after you wake up, before you do anything? Tell me write down what you feel, and tell me, well, I feel tired, or I feel like I haven't accomplished much, or I feel really good and grateful because, you know, I have a beautiful life, or I wake up grateful and then I think of my reality and I'm like, oh, or I feel like excited to really be able to wake up and do something that I love. Like, write down what your default emotion is. And you want to get deep into it. Like, so if you feel like bored, go deeper into it. Beyond bored, you know, bored might be a superficial description of it, but like go deeper into it and be like, okay, bored, and then what else could it be? Well, like if I go deeper, what is that next emotion that I'm feeling? And so go deeper into it. Ask yourself 3 times the same question: what is my default emotion? And you think about your days, Picture when you, from where you wake up to when you go to sleep, what's your self-talk about? What are you always thinking about? What is worrying you? What is giving you anxiety? Or what is it getting you excited? So think about that and figure out, like, 80% of the day or 70 to 80% of the day, what am I feeling? Okay, that's your default emotion. And you can have multiple emotions, right? I know that I go back between like anxiety, because I get anxious. I get really anxious about things because I want to control everything, and that's part of what I've learned and what I'll be teaching in Awaken and Renew, where like I get really anxious and I want to micromanage everything, and I don't let God deal with certain things in my life, and I think that I know all the answers, and then when I go in, I know that God comes in and he actually solves things better than I can, sometimes not in the way that I plan, but he does better than me. So I have issues with like micromanaging. Up until now, I have issues with micromanaging, with trying to make things perfect, trying to control everything and not letting God, okay, and not letting God and not letting go. And so what are the things that cause you the most pain? Those default emotions. And then what are your default positive emotions? If you have more positive emotions than negative ones, or let's not say negatives, but ones that disempower you, write them down, okay? So actually, I made a mistake there. Let me rephrase that. What is your default emotion? And then label it as empowering or disempowering, okay? Is it empowering or is it disempowering? Like, so your default emotion is neither bad or good. It's just empowering you to do more, to accomplish more, to feel better, or it's disempowering you, okay? And then the second thing that I want you to write is what needs are you trying to satisfy through feeling those emotions? Are you trying to satisfy a need for significance, or are you trying to satisfy a need for feeling loved? Because every emotion that you feel and every behavior that you engage in has a function. It has a has a function, has a purpose. So I want you to find out, because many people say, oh, I have this default emotion where I go into victim mode. I can tell you that up until now, I've worked, a lot on getting rid of victim mode, because I used to be like, oh, I can't, and my mom and my dad, and I've always been a high achiever, and you guys, if you're listening to me, you probably are too. But there comes a point when you're a high achiever, when you get so caught up in micromanaging and trying to do and make sure you hit your goal, that you become exhausted. And so what happens when we get exhausted? We go into like into a mode of like powerlessness, and we start blaming others. We start saying, oh, but I tried my best and these people didn't help me on this. And so because we can't handle the pain of not getting our way, or not getting what we want, or not reaching our goal, we go and blame other people because we don't know what to do with the pain, and we feel weak. So the only way to feel strong again is to blame others and be like, no, it was because my husband didn't help me. Like, I used to say all these things like, oh no, and you can ask some of my friends, you can ask them, like, I would be like, my husband doesn't help me enough, or Victoria's too, like, I have to take care of Victoria, so I can't, I can't do this, I can't make this video, I can't. So all these excuses come from having that mentality of, I want to satisfy a need and I can't satisfy my need. So when I get exhausted of like feeling emotionally drained, I blame other people. So find out what needs you're trying to meet through your emotions, and know that all the emotions that you experience are not necessarily bad or good. They are just a way for you to meet your needs, okay? And don't judge yourself, and give yourself lots of love when you're feeling that way, okay? And oh my god, I have this light that is so bright. Okay, hold on, let me move it back. Okay, my loves. So that's the first thing. So first thing is, what is your default emotion? Then are they empower? Second thing you do is, are they empowering or disempowering? Those default emotions that you experience. And number 3 is, what need are you trying to satisfy through those emotions? Are you trying to get attention? Are you trying to get help? Are you trying to express frustration because you haven't been able to accomplish something? Whatever, okay? Figure out those things. And then what needs you're trying to satisfy. And number 4 is, what thoughts and activities are you actually are triggering you? Like, so for example, let's say you have an emotion that could be anxiety, right? And I can talk about this because it happened to me, and it happens all the time. So I have anxiety. I'm like anxious about something that I can't micromanage, right? Like I'm like trying to do something and I can't micromanage it. I have to let it go. So I get like this fear, and it turns into anxiety because I want to like go into the future and change it and fix it, right? And so what happens? And I'm sure it's happened to you guys. You start eating like crazy. Like you start like, oh no, I need to eat because food is going to satisfy that need. So that emotion of anxiety, that story that I'm telling myself, like, oh, my thing is not working out, is giving me an emotion of anxiety, right? Stress, anxiety. And so what do I do? To be able to quiet down and calm that anxiety, I engage in a behavior which is like eating, overeating, right? Or like, oh, I have to eat pancakes and I have to eat donuts. And so that behavior, that activity of like being anxious triggers me, you know, that emotion triggers me. And if I have donuts in my house, or I go out, you know, to a party, I'm gonna be triggered by that. So find out what are the things that trigger you. Or if someone, you know, tells you something about your story and you're like, oh no, but it hasn't happened yet, like, you know, I haven't achieved what I want to achieve, or I haven't been able to get this done, I have so much to do, I'm overwhelmed. Somebody's words may be a trigger as well. So think about, for your default emotions, what are some of the triggers? What are some of the activities, the things, and the environments that trigger you the most? So when you're in your home, what triggers you? Okay? And remember, sometimes it may feel like external things are triggering you. When I tell you, find out what environment triggers you, what activities. But in reality is, what really triggers you are not really the environments or the activities, but the way you react to them, okay? So it's like, it's not what happens to you in life, what shapes you, it's how you react to it, okay? Oh my God, there's so much life. So find out what triggers you, and then ask yourself, so when I'm at my mom's house, I get triggered to eat more. And that's me. When I'm at my mom's house, I eat so much because I don't know, I feel like I'm relaxing, so I want to eat. I don't know, or I love her food, I guess. And so when I'm at my mom's house, I eat more, right? So this is just a silly example, but you guys can use it. When I'm at my mom's house, I eat more, and what's the function that I'm trying to feed? It's that I'm anxious and I need to like do something, and food gives me something to do. It gives me variety, it gives me satisfaction. And then the environment is my mom's house. The activities are like, I'm not doing anything, so I start eating. I'm chilling, right? So I start eating because I want to do something, right? Because I'm thinking about what I should be doing and I'm not doing it, so I eat, right? And so that thing that is triggering me, I want to identify it. And then when I'm there, I want to know, like, how can I replace this? It's not about not going to my mom's house anymore, right? How can I really get to the bottom of what emotion, what story is making me behave this way, so that I can change it and I can shift my default emotions to my desired emotions. And this is where the juice comes in. Obviously, the juice is also in finding your default emotions and being aware of them. But when you replace your desired emotions for your default emotions for desired emotions, then you're talking. Then you're seeing the transformation. You're seeing the renewal, which is what we're going to be talking about at Awaken and Renew. And it was one of the modules is going to talk about replacing what you don't desire and focusing when you do desire. Okay, so I want you to take some time to write down this part. And so when you think of your default emotion, let's say 80% of the day you figured out that your default emotion is anxiety and stress. So for example, I can say that when I did this exercise the first time, I would think like a default emotion that was pretty big for me was anxiety, like because I wanted to control everything and micromanage everything, you know. So that was one of the things. So with time, I've been able to manage it a little, right? That's why I was able to lose weight and like to really feel better with my body, because I started finding out the things that were making me overeat, which is the anxiety, and calming that down. But it's still a work in process, I have to say to you guys. I've come a long way, but I still got a lot of work to do. And that's life, right? So my default emotion was, you know, probably like 30% of the time I was feeling anxious. And I was going between trusting God into anxiety, peace and anxiety. Peace and like, oh my God, when am I going to do it? Oh no, I got to let God do it. Oh, how am I going to figure this out? How am I going to get all this stuff done? Oh no, I'm going to relax and know that I have enough time in the day to get it all done. Like, this is me, like, back and forth. And so my desired emotion that I wanted to experience more than the anxiety, right? Which anxiety could have been like 20%, 25% of my default emotions out of 100. The desired emotion was peace of mind, and contentment with regardless of the situation, right? So I want you to think about, from the default emotions that you identified, which ones were disempowering, first of all, and then ask yourself, what are the desired emotions I want to experience on a daily basis? And so when you do that, you can start shifting. So, oh, I'm aware that I'm anxious 25% of the time. I want to feel my desired emotion is going to be now, instead of anxiety, I'm going to start gradually going into more of like a peace, or peace is kind of like the other extreme, but maybe something that comes before peace, like being content or being relaxed. Okay, so instead of I'm anxious, I'm gonna try to relax. And then I want you to think about, what are some what needs will you be meeting when you are more relaxed? What needs were you meeting with the anxiety? Your need to control. So when you're relaxing, you bring in a new story and you say, well, I'm gonna relax because God is in control. Things are gonna be fine. Last time I went through something like this, things worked out, and I know this time it's gonna work out as well. Or if something didn't work out in the past, it will work out now. And so I want you to start, feeding yourself and finding out, my desired emotion is, I want to have, instead of anxiety, I want to have more peace 25% of the time. And what need am I going to satisfy with that? My need for certainty, or my need for love, or my need to have variety in my life. Because some people, instead of peace, like you can think of, some people want excitement and bliss. And that they're trying to satisfy their need for variety, right? Like their need for fun, for adventure. And so you always want to know what need you're trying to satisfy. So either you want to feel more significant, you want to fulfill your need for love and connection, or fulfill your need for growth. Another need is contribution, and another need is your need for variety. So like changing your day up, having different things, meeting new people. Like, what are the needs you're trying to satisfy with that desired emotion? And the last thing I wanted you to do is, what thoughts and activities can help you get into that state? What activities can you engage in the morning that will help you shift that default emotion into a desired emotion? Okay, and so maybe prayer. For me, anxiety, it was like one of the biggest ones that I'm still working on, and it's gotten down to a point where I'm getting better at it. And so for me, my prayer in the morning and journaling really helped me to ease my anxiety. That's an activity that really helps me relax. So what eases your anxiety? Think about the activities that you can do, or the places that you can go, or the things that you can think about to relax yourself, and to really consciously and deliberately move from default emotions that are not empowering into desired emotions that are empowering. Okay, and this will change your life. This will really help you. Okay, so that's what I want you to do for every emotion that is a default emotion that is not empowering. Okay, so do that. Number one, what is the desired emotion that I want to use to replace that default emotion that is not empowering? So for me, it was peace, right? Then what are the needs that I'm trying to satisfy through experiencing that emotion, right? And then the third thing I want you to do is, what activities can I engage in? What things can I do? What people can I be around? What environment can I be in? Or what thoughts can I think? Or memories can I bring up or imagine to be able to tap into that emotion that is a desired emotion? And it's gonna be, when you do this, it's gonna really help you. You want to do it every single day. You can do it on paper, or you can do it in your mind, but I highly recommend doing it on paper if you can. So find out what activities can get you into that emotion. What activities can help you feel better. And most importantly, because activities are conditional depending on the things that you can do, but what thoughts and what images in your mind. So it could be a memory, or it could be something that you imagine. When you imagine your purpose already being fulfilled, when you imagine yourself living your vision, that could be a way for you to tap into a new desired emotion. So most importantly, besides activities and environments and people that will get you into that mood, I want you to learn to self-create, to auto-create and auto-generate those triggers that could get you into those emotions. And this is like level 2 of this like course, which is something we're going to be talking about in Awaken and Renew again, like, because we're going to go deep into this. But for now, what are some things you can think of? Maybe journaling your big vision and how it's going to feel when you're there will help you get into the emotions of peace and will help you connect with God. Maybe reading the Bible or reading a scripture, like a sacred book in your religion. What words will ignite that? And feeding your mind with those words, feeding your mind with that knowledge of the truth, of the light, of the beautiful things that will allow you to have all those memories, all those words and information that you can use as a trigger to bring up peace, to bring up joy. And so for me, quoting scripture is huge. Like, all things are possible with God. I am loved. Like, God loves me. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So all these scriptures for me are huge. When I'm having an emotion of anxiety, when I'm having an emotion of like something that's not positive, fear, I go back into my scripture. So I feed my mind. I replay the movie of the scriptures, and that immediately brings a trigger of peace and like gratitude into my life. Okay, so find out what are the activities that you can do every day to get into those triggered emotions, like going for a walk, exercising, but most importantly, think about the thoughts and memories you can bring up, or the things you can imagine that will happen in the future that will get you back into that state. Okay, this is going to be really, really helpful if you try it every single day, and it's helped me and it's changed my life. And so remember, always knowing what's the story behind this emotion, what is the default emotion that you're living into every day, and changing it if it's not empowering you, and replacing that default emotion for a desired emotion that is also going to help you to meet your needs, and that is going to help you remain in a state where you are energized, where you're excited, or at least able to perform the things you gotta do to make sure you get to your ultimate destiny and be the woman you want to be before you even get there. Okay, and so this is like the tip of the iceberg, and I really want to do another call, another masterclass to get deeper into that, the second step of like really using your emotions. Because now, after we're done with this, I want to go into the conscious mind, because in the let me organize my thoughts. So I want to go into the conscious mind and the unconscious mind, because there's a lot of stories and beliefs, right? Belief systems that we're unconscious about, that we run on autopilot because we learn it from parents, we learn it from society. But there are some beliefs that we are conscious about, that we're constantly changing. So I want to go into that, and I want to talk about the 2 doors to the unconscious mind, which are prayer and sleep, and how to use sleep and prayer to really make sure that when you're sleeping and when you're not aware of what stories you're telling yourself, you can still reprogram. And conscious mind, I want this part of this is what you will do to reprogram your conscious mind and really like tap into more positive emotions that will help you do more positive things. But the conscious mind part of it would have to do with the triad of emotions, which I can show you guys as well. It's a beautiful concept I learned from Tony Robbins, and it's focused on the conscious mind. Conscious mind, way to really get your conscious mind to shift is based on the triad of emotions, which is psychology, language, and focus. Okay, so we can talk about that in another live stream or another masterclass, which I would love to teach. Let me know in the comments if this helped you. Let me know in the comments if doing this exercise opened up awareness about certain things in your life, and I would love to hear your feedback either through message or through the comments below. And so this is all. I think it's enough because it's a lot. Like, I know like this stuff is like a lot, but it's so powerful, and it may seem simple, but you guys will see that if you apply it, it will be really, really helpful to be aware and to know what your default emotions are, so you can start shifting them. Okay. And then what else? The last thing I want to talk about is Awaken and Renew. I'm super excited about Awaken and Renew. So if you haven't read about it, if you haven't heard about it, Awaken and Renew is a course that I created because I felt called to really talk about more spiritual things and really break down a lot of the spiritual practices that I have that have helped me grow in my journey and help my clients. And I made it into a course that will last 8 weeks, where we're going to talk about what are the spiritual foundations for you to awaken, or if you're already awakened, to really try to spend most of your life in the awakening part and connected to God. And how would the awakening lead you to your purpose? So helping you awaken, helping you also stay aligned with your purpose. From that fundamental awakenness that you're gonna have, you're gonna be like, okay, I'm awakened. I know what I'm capable of. I know that God is on my side. I know that anything is possible. Now, what is it that I'm here to do? So once you figure that out, you awaken. You're like, this is what I'm here to do. I'm gonna help you with my expertise through the Passion Test certification to align with your purpose, to find out what your values are, what you're here to do. And once you know what your purpose is, the renewing part comes in, which is beautiful, because for you to fulfill that purpose, you have to be in alignment with your new identity. So what we do in the renewal part is 8 weeks. So the first 4 weeks we're going to spend in the awakening part, and then the other 4 weeks we're going to spend in the renewing. So it's like, what techniques can you use to try to remain in your new identity more than what the time you spent in your old identity? So it's like basically going from your ego's way of seeing the world, with limitations, with fear, with competition, with comparison, into the new identity, which is the identity that knows that abundance is your birthright, that God is with you all the time, that you're backed up by the universe, by God, by angels, and that new identity of knowing and trusting God in your journey. So we're gonna talk about the law of manifestation, the law of assumption. It's gonna be amazing. And the last part of the renewal of your mind is like teaching you how to really like work your way between old identity, new identity, because we have this duality, and this duality is not going anywhere. We're always going to have the little devil and the little angel talking to us, and most of the time we want to be in the angel side. We want to be aligned with God's truth. But after we teach you techniques and ways in which you can go back and forth between your old identity and your new identity, and try to stay mostly on your new identity. We're going to talk about what your ultimate intent in life is, and that's going to be related to your vision and your mission. Ultimately, my loves, awakening and renewing our lives is all about one thing. You know, our visions, what we want to do in our lives. Some people want to be in the military. Some people want to be speakers. Some people want to be accountants. Some people want to be mothers. Some people want to be priests. I'm sorry, priests, like priestesses or priests or nuns, whatever. But at the end of the day, what every single human being is seeking is to awaken, is to be one with God, and to find joy and happiness, and to live in love. So regardless of the form that you're giving to that vision, your ultimate intent is always being happy and joyful in being with God. So I'm going to show you how your vision is going to lead you closer to that, and I'm going to share this beautiful information with you. But at the end of the day, what's going to really make stuff happen, I'm going to share the information, but God is going to do the revelation. So if you're interested in having this beautiful experience with me and other women for 8 weeks through the online trainings, and then our weekly calls that we're going to have for Q&As, and then you can go to my page, bit.ly//awaken and renew, and you can check out the page, see if this program is for you, pray about it, see if it's something that you want to do, and check it out. Figure out if it's something that calls your heart, and if it is, take action quickly, because the spots are limited. I can only teach so many women at a time if I want to have time to serve all of you powerfully. And I really believe in this program. I think it's going to be a blast for us. I think it's going to be amazing for you if you're looking for this support in an environment where people believe in God and really want to improve their lives and need practical help to get it done. And it's a system. It's a way of, it's not a system, it's not a structure actually. It's a way of being, it's a way for you to renew the way you see yourself and the way you see the world, and align it with God's way of seeing the world and God's creation. So if you're excited about it, if you want it, if you like it, go on now and take action. Send me any questions that you may have, and I will be glad to answer. Hi. The card is going to be closing at the end of May, and or before, or when people when the spots are gone. Okay, so take action, go ahead and do it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I hope this is really helpful for you. If you just joined, then we can just watch the replay, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you. Bye. Have a beautiful day. Remember that you were made for greatness. Bye.